Hey everybody, welcome to episode 3 of KittyCatGO Live, where we discuss various topics related to traveling and adventuring with your cat. I'm your host, Emily Hall, and tonight we'll be chatting about basic cat first aid and putting together an adventure first aid kit. If you're watching with us tonight, be sure to say hello in the comments. Questions are encouraged along the way as well. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive in. Our special guest for the evening is Arden Moore. Arden is America's pet health and safety coach who happily wears many collars in the pet world. She's a master certified pet first aid and CPR instructor and founder of Pet First Aid for You. She's the host of the O Behave show on Pet Life Radio and host of the Meowie Hour, presented each Wednesday night by the Cat Fanciers Association. She's authored more than 24 cat and dog books and is a regular contributor to Catster and Dogster magazines, as well as a fear-free pet certified professional. She shares her Dallas home with Furry Brady Bunch that includes pet safety cat Casey and Rescue the Performer, who I know will be making an appearance tonight. Arden has a lot of great info to share with us tonight, so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring her on.
Pause up. Hey, Emily, thank you for joining us. We have pet safety cat Casey and Rusty the Performer. I have not super glued them. Right now they're in the meatloaf position. They've been on a lot of different sets and they're getting used to all this kind of online. So they just finished co-hosting Meowie Hour with me from the Cat Fancier Association. And I got to tell everybody, April 28th, guys, Emily is going to be our special guest on the Meowie Hour, also on Facebook. So go to CFA. And I'm a licensed bartender, so I create kitty cocktails at the very end of the show, and we salute and toast to all cats, purebreds and mutt cats like mine. So thanks for we're going to help each other out. Being guest on our show.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I know it'll be a fun evening. Well, Arden, before
sit, stay good, kitties.
They're so well behaved.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into the questions and topics I want to talk about tonight, can you tell us a little bit more about you and how you got started in the pet first aid and safety stuff and you know your business and everything?
Well, I was born. No, I'm just going to kid. We'll just speed forward. I have been in the pet field for more than 20 years, and for the last 10 or 11 years, I know a lot about behavior and things like that. I write for magazines, I host shows, but I felt that there was a big piece of the puzzle missing, and that was pet safety. How many of you have ever gone to a pet first aid class and you're like this? No. So I'm like, something's got to be done. We've got to get people motivated to go to a pet first aid class. And I do that by, as you're going to find out, I tell really bad puns, sing. I want you to have fun and feel safe while you're learning. And I want it to be practical. So I got to tell you, that's one of the most passionate things I have is teaching people what to do when happens to their dog or their cat. But I was a reporter for 20 years, an investigative reporter. Do you guys remember newspapers? Yeah. I learned from a great editor, and he said, if your mother tells you she loves you, check it out. In other words, just don't take things at face value. So that's how I have created Pet First Aid for You. I'm sort of a goofball in class, but I'm very serious about what I'm teaching you, and I make it very practical. And I have about a dozen veterinarians as advisors that are like Vanna White initials after their name. They're probably still paying off their college tuition. But we've got people like Dr. Marty Becker. We've got Dr. Elizabeth Colleran, who is the past president of the American Academy of Feline Practitioners. We've got ER vets, internal medicine, house call vets. So what I taught 11 years ago, what I teach now, either in the cat only or the cat and dog first aid programs, are totally been accelerated and different and practical. Because, you know, if you really think about what is first aid is that life-saving bridge between the and the veterinary clinic. Your job, you're not going to become a veterinarian, sorry. But you're going to learn to stabilize, how to render aid and not get shredded. That's my mission when I teach the classes.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm very much looking forward to taking some of your classes, and we'll talk a little bit more about those first aid classes at the end, because I know my viewers are going to really want to know more about those, like the dates and all of that.
Sure. And I have product placement behind my head, everybody. That's the website. I have it up there because Rusty tries to eat it, the corners. So if you notice, they've been cut diagonally because he's been chewing on them.
Oh, Rusty.
Nice job, Rusty. Busted. He's still a youngster. Anybody that knows Samantha Martin and the Amazing Acro Cats, he is one of the cats that she rescued. He was found as an orphan cat in a dumpster in Georgia, full of fleas. Took 3 baths to get rid of that rust-colored water, Rusty. And she found out that this is a guy that loves to learn and loves to be social. And we were at the Academy conference in January last year, pre-COVID. And we've been friends for a number of years. And she said, Arden, I need a big favor. I go, what? I need you to adopt this cat. Why? Because I don't want him just going to a home and being bored out of his head. He loves to learn. He loves to show off. And you teach a lot of behavior and first aid classes, and I'm fear-free, as you mentioned. And so I had to call my wife and say, Julie, I think I'm bringing home a kitten from this conference. And she said, okay, I want those 3 trees I wanted planted, deal. And now Rusty, he stretches out, you know, he has to always touch somebody when he sleeps. He is best friends with a little pup we adopted, a pandemic pup named Emma. And they're both about 9 pounds, and he's about 1.5 years old. So Rusty and Emma are best friends. He finally has charmed Casey, my pet safety cat, who is a certified therapy cat. And he's like, what did you bring home from the conference? But as any of you know, you've really got to be careful when you're introducing cats to cats or other things. So I'm happy to say, look at them now.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like you guys have made some good progress.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. See, he's got a touch.
Now.
Oh, Casey kissed Rusty.
Oh.
You saw it first on KittyCatGO Live. What? Nice little boy.
Awesome. Well, I am really looking forward to tapping into all of your expertise on pet first aid and safety. As someone who goes out and adventures with their cat, we go hiking, canoeing, camping, and all of that stuff. And thankfully, nothing has ever happened before, you know, and I hope it stays that way. But I know that I and everyone else who does this too wants to be prepared for, like you said, those uh-oh moments.
Right.
So I have some questions for you tonight that I'm hoping you can help us with. So probably the most common thing that we might encounter while we're out hiking with our cats is maybe like a bee sting or a wasp sting. If our cats get stung by a bee or something and we're out hiking, what steps should we take to deal with that?
Well, the first thing is we got to remember that a cat is not a small dog. You cannot tell a cat, leave it.
Yeah.
And here's this flying acrobatic, what he thinks is a meal, flying in front. And the first thing a cat normally is going to do is grab it and put him in the mouth. So there's a risk of the paw getting stung. There's even a greater risk that they're going to get stung in the mouth. Now, cats, just like people, some can be allergic to the venom in the bee sting, and they could actually go into what's called anaphylactic shock. Not good. They're going to look like Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
You know, so the first thing I teach everybody, because they're reading our emotional states. If I was hyper right now, do you think Casey and Rusty would be hanging like this?
Probably not.
No. So the first thing you need to do is you need to watch how you are breathing, how you react. So be calm. And I tell people, you get permission to freak out later.
Yeah.
So when you are calm and you're approaching them from behind safely, these are cool techniques we show in our class. But what I can share with the KittyCatGO Live growing audience is I have right here some antihistamine Benadryl. It doesn't matter, but you notice that it has a safety pin taped on it.
Yeah.
I really encourage if you're going out on an adventure with your kitty to bring this, but it gets better. Make sure that it's a liquid gel.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because if your kitty gets stung in the mouth and their throat is closing, their airway is closing, good luck getting a pill down a cat's mouth.
Yeah.
So what we do is in first aid, we stay prepared. So you've got a safety pin already here. So you can puncture one of these gel capsules. May I show them on you? He's kitten in training. All right. So you guys know there's a hinge on either side of the cat's mouth. So you can go here. You would squeeze the gel right there in the side, blow on their nose. You'll see them lick and they swallow it. It contains an ingredient that's a big word, diphenhydramine. I now live in Dallas. So I just tell people, think about the big D.
Yeah.
When you get this for your kit when you're traveling on camping trips, please, guys, I know they're adorable. I know there are fur kids, but don't get any kind of antihistamine that says for kids, because it's going to have the xylitol, grape flavored, cherry flavored. That's a no-no. Xylitol is more lethal to dogs than cats, but it sure doesn't make cats feel really good. The second thing is, oh my gosh, don't buy any antihistamine that says with pain reliever.
Okay.
Because that has the bad boy acetaminophen. Bye-bye, kitty. So the one and only ingredient is the big D, diphenhydramine. So you already have it ready because you got the safety pin. What do you think?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Very clever.
Well, we have more in our class. That's what we do.
Yeah.
I can't believe he let me do that. He did good. He's learning.
He did. What's the dosage? Like, how do you know how much to give?
Well, I'm not a veterinarian and I don't play one on TV, but my ER and veterinary advisors tell me, see how I have to do the legal beagle?
Yeah.
Okay. One of these is 25 milligrams. Veterinarians, not Arden Moore, will tell you that that's good for about up to 25 pounds of pet.
Okay.
So one would probably be good for a kitty. That doesn't mean they're going to sit there and start purring and able to swallow. So in our classes, we do teach people how to do kitty CPR and rescue breaths. The main point I can tell you guys, when something happens to our cats, your job's not done until you hand off your kitty to the veterinary team, because things can go from good to bad to bad to good throughout the whole process. So we don't stop until we do the handoff to those people with the DVMs after their name. So it's kind of scary. Now, if it's just a simple bee sting or they got it on their paw or something, it's just like with people, you could just do a little a paste of baking soda and water, to make sure. And if you can see the stinger, you can take your driver's license or a credit card, and you would take, if you see the stinger, you would spatula movement like this to remove the stinger. Guys, don't take your fingernails and try to pinch it out, or to take tweezers and pinch it out, because you risk rupturing the venom sac, and the venom is spreading to more parts of the body. So the little spatula-like motion is a good way to leverage out a stinger.
Yeah. Wow. Gosh, I feel like I should have brought a notebook to take notes. I'm glad this is recorded on video.
We don't need no stinking notes.
Awesome. Okay, so another probably pretty common injury that a cat might encounter when they're out hiking is a splinter.
Yeah.
What would your advice be about dealing with splinters? Well,
with splinters, we're talking tiny little guys, right? you can, for that one, you can use one of the tweezers. I got a pet first aid kit here, and here we go. All right. So on that one, it's hard to see, but if you press it down, it can grab the thing and bring it up.
Yeah.
See it?
Yeah.
He thinks it's a toy. I'm gonna get your nose. I'm gonna get your nose.
You could feed him treats with it.
Yeah, he goes, what is that, Mommy? I like that. But let's talk about something a little more serious. And that is, I hope this never happens to your cats or your dogs. I have cats and dogs in my home. If something happens and they get impaled, like a piece of barbed wire fence goes through their cheek or a paw or a stick or something sharp, please, guys, do not pull it out. Because right there, it's kind of acting like a cork in a wine bottle. It's keeping the bad things from getting worse. Well, hello. Are you tired? Am I that boring? Okay. This is my class. This is how we teach. Isn't he a good boy? So the point is, it's keeping everything in place. You need to get your pet safely and stabilized to a veterinarian where they're probably going to, under anesthesia, be able to safely remove that impaled object and be able to sanitize and keep from, I call it caca, bad stuff, contaminants spreading in the bloodstream and blood loss. Because if a cat nicks an artery, and in our classes we show you where all the arteries are, we do a wrap on KC and everything. If you don't stop the bleeding on an arterial bleed, guys, the kitty can bleed out in 5 to 7 minutes.
Oh, gosh.
So with something like a little splinter, and always, you know, I'm sure you tell your audience, guys, when the kitty's been prowling around in a harness, make sure you do the little paw pad press, hello, hello, and make sure there's nothing sticking in between these paw pads. Good one, ticks. Ticks like to come right here. Ticks also like to hide under that lower lip. Did you know that? Right there. Hello. You see what I'm doing? I got him a year ago, and as you can tell, I'm getting him used to being touched. And I'm at a game. He doesn't always get the T word every time, which makes him want to work harder because it's the training one everybody knows, intermittent reinforcement. So if I say right now, do you want a treat, Rusty? Look at his animation. All right, sit.
Oh, I do.
Come here, buddy. All right, I need you to sit all the way up. All the way up. Come on, all the way up. Okay, good. And Casey's already over there. He might show up later. With cats, you never force. You always negotiate.
Right? Yeah.
So get back over here, buddy. So anyway, he's kind of a clown tonight. All right. So I hope that helped. I mean, we're doing much more detail, but you know, just really inspect your kitty from head to tail and press those little paw pads to make sure no bad boys. Now, when a kitty goes to bite you, I just relax my hand. Why? Because the minute I got anxious or they are hardwired to bite down harder. That's why when a wiggly mouse who's screaming has a quicker death than the one who fakes like they're dead. Some cats will actually open the mouth and the mouse is saved. So they are triggered to respond to resistance, and they will bite harder.
Wow. Okay.
I used to be the editor of Catnip. It was through Tufts University. So I got to hang out with a lot of cat brainiacs.
Yeah, that's awesome. I definitely, it's so hard when you're in some sort of situation to remain calm. I know that.
This is like something that I got taught from first responders, because in addition to the cat class and the dog and the cat class, I actually teach people to become instructors in pet first aid through Pro Pet Hero. So some of my students are paramedics, firefighters, veterinarians, things like that. And they taught me, as you have to be a first responder. So that means you got to take a breath, let it out, and do a 360, check your surroundings before you approach, because you don't want to put yourself in danger, and you also don't want to jack up their fear, anxiety, stress. So I've learned from the best first responders.
Yeah, it's really, really great advice. So you mentioned ticks, and I want to ask about that too. If we find a tick on our cat later and remove it, how do we know if we need to go to the vet for a tick bite? Is that something that is vet visit worthy, or just something you keep?
Well, the good thing is they do have preventatives out there for flea and tick medicine. Please, if you're going to be outdoors with your kitty on an adventure, work with your veterinarian on picking a preventative that works. And they've got new generations out there that are really, really good. But you are always paying attention to your cat and looking for things that don't look normal. So if your cat had gotten a tick and you had removed it, but you notice that area is red and hard and swelling, you need to make a vet visit. The best advice I got from my veterinary advisors is this: you would rather have a veterinary tell you, hey, Emily, everything's good with Sophia, rather than Sophie, rather than say, why did you wait so long?
Yeah. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah. I mean, you're giving cats such an enriched life. When I grew up outside of Chicago. We had a lake in our backyard, and I had a Siamese cat named Corky, and we had 2 dogs, silly names, Crackers and Peppy. Nice. And we had, it was a small lake, so no motorboats, just, canoes and sailboats. And we had a little raft that we had out in the lake. And my cat, I didn't think it was anything different. Corky and I would go swimming in the lake, and he would swim with the dogs to the raft. Then he would sun himself until we were ready to swim back home.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought, well, there's nothing, I never thought anything wrong. So what you're doing is wonderful, because we're not putting limits on cats. And I love cats and dogs, but who wins the popularity contest in homes? Cats! Yeah. So I just brought that out because some cats really are out for an adventure. Others are like, I just want to hang out on the couch. Mm-hmm. So please know your kitty. But like you said, just be prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let me see what else. Poison ivy and poison oak. Is that something that we need to be concerned about when we're out hiking in the woods?
Yes and yes, but mainly for us.
Okay.
Now, the cat and the dog, their skin and their physiology is different than ours. We have pores all over our skin. They sweat through their paw pads and by panting, but their skin is different than ours. So here's the deal. If you and your cat are hiking through the woods and your cat brushes and gets that sap from the poison ivy or the poison oak, kitties are like, na, 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 na. Kitties don't really get as bad of a reaction to poison ivy and oak than humans do. But here's what happens.
We touch
it. They got some sap on their coat and you're cleaning it off without gloves. Look at your hand now.
Yeah.
But that said, if you got a kitty that likes to eat green leaves and grass and things like that, there is a risk that the kitty may bite on some poison ivy or poison oak leaves. Mm-hmm. And then guess what, guys? You get to induce vomiting.
So are they toxic to cats then?
Yeah, especially ingested.
Yeah.
They could start vomiting, or if they're not vomiting, but they're foaming and all that. We show in our first aid classes how to induce vomiting, which brings me to one thing I really want to stress. Because they're not little humans, we want you to raise your right paw right now, Emily. Raise your right paw. Right. All right, Rusty, here we go. Rusty says, I promise.
I promise.
Never to use hydrogen peroxide.
Never to use hydrogen peroxide.
To clean a cat's wound.
To clean a cat's wound.
So help me paw.
So help me paw.
Okay. Everybody thinks that little bubbling action is good. Mm-hmm. You're destroying skin tissue, healthy skin tissue. The only reason hydrogen peroxide is in a pet first aid kit is because if they get into something toxic and they're not hurling, you have to get it out of their body. And we show in our first aid classes how to induce vomiting using hydrogen peroxide with a veterinarian's guidance.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that? You just made a promise to Sophie.
I did. And that's very interesting because you're right. I mean, hydrogen peroxide is like the thing that we all think of for ourselves and probably would think of using it for our pets too if they had a wound. So under no circumstances use hydrogen peroxide.
No.
All right.
Tail is elastic. Look at his ears. He's like, listen to me. Hey, buddy. You okay? All right. He goes, it's been a long day. All right. So I hope that helps. And
absolutely.
First aid kit. There's different ones out there, guys, but please on your trips, have one in your car. Always have one at home. We're hoping that we're going to do a lot more out and abouts. Thank you, COVID, because people are getting their vaccinations and things like that. Our pets have saved our tails, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine our level of sanity if we didn't have a cool cat or dog in our life at home while we were sheltering in place. I mean, I feel like they make me laugh. We call this when you're petting them, you're releasing oxytocin in your body, your brain hormone, which is called the cuddle chemical. So cuddling your kitty or your dog, actually does a body good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
probably the thing that I always think of as, I guess, the biggest danger that we have out adventuring with cats is snakes. If God forbid our cats were to get bit by a snake and we're out on the trail, obviously that would be something you'd want to go to the vet for. But if you're out in the woods, what can we do in the meantime before we're able to get to a vet?
Well, the one thing is don't be Daniel Boone and try to go and kill the snake, and bring in the head or whatever. You're wasting time.
Yeah.
Your role is to stabilize this kitty, maybe put him in a towel and keep him immobilized. Because the more he moves, the more he runs and does all this, the more the heart is beating and the faster the venom is circulating in the body. And the other tricky thing is do you know what a venomous snake looks like versus a non-venomous snake?
A little bit.
Right. But there are some venomous snakes who have a copycat that look like same markings, but they're not venomous. The way you know is that it's 2 prongs on the wound on the body. A non-venomous snake looks like a smile. It's like a little dots like this. It looks like you bit into an apple.
Okay.
But even though it's a non-venomous snake, it still can impact the cat's respiratory system, their muscular system. I mean, the main thing is get them wrapped in a towel. You are not putting ice on the wound. This is a biggie because you put ice on a bite and the body is all hot from the venom, and you match it with something ice cold and the body starts to go into shock.
Yeah.
So you don't want that clap of thunder. So there's not a lot you can do except keep them still and call ahead. And when you go to the vet, hey guys, be nice to these veterinarians. Anti-venom goes first priority to humans. Yeah. So it's kind of like the COVID vaccines, your grandma gets it first, not you, right?
Yeah.
And so it's very expensive. It's like $800 or more a vial.
Wow.
If you're a veterinarian and you're trying to run a practice, you're going to have all the kitty vaccinations that they need, rabies and all that, but you only have so much money. So you don't keep a lot of anti-venom on the shelf because it also has a short shelf life. So most likely the kitty's going to go into, how about you in the picture, man? Into an oxygen tank. They're going to be giving them IV fluids. They're going to be treating symptomatically. And it could be days. They could make it, they could not. But the nice thing is cats are pretty smart. And I don't know a lot of cats that want to take on a cobra.
Yeah.
As much as I have a Jack Russell Terrier mix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Come here, Snake, take you on.
Yeah.
And Rusty are like, no, that's okay. We're going to go on this side. We'll see you later. You know, it's a big place. So cats are pretty smart. You know, they choose their fights.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned I had a Jack Russell growing up when I was a kid. And I remember one time she coming in from being in the backyard and covered in blood. And we thought she had been injured, but she was fine. No wounds on her. She had found a snake and had, you know, killed the snake and got the snake's blood all over her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't give them any ideas. Come on. Well, yeah. So snakes, it's not sexy, but the main thing is immobilize. You can put something cool there, but you don't want something cold that shocks the body, and then you have more issues. Because I say the best definition of shock is someone's inside just turning off all the lights on the heart, the lung, the liver, all that stuff, and then you have a lot of issues. And as you know, cats are both prey and predator, so they're like, I feel good. Yeah, I got a snake bite, but I feel good. What's your problem?
Yeah.
So they don't want to show weakness because they don't want to be lunch.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Right? Did I say that right, Rusty? Yeah, I'm falling asleep. Okay. This is my world.
It's a fun world.
He's pretty cool, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
And Casey's sleeping. I'm in my backyard office. I call it, ready for this? It's not a she shed. I call it Ard's Den.
Right.
And it's about a 200 square foot space. And I have a corner hutch, and of course, I have a cat bed on top of the corner hutch, right? And Casey is sleeping. I think I can do it. I'll show you. I'll see if I can, without breaking my computer.
He's been working hard tonight. He had one show already before ours.
Yeah, ready? Here he is.
He goes,
hi, I'm sleeping.
Hey, Casey.
All right, so I just want to make sure I don't break my camera. Okay. All right. So yeah, so he's a good boy, but anybody that's ever taken a class, first aid or behavior with Casey and I, he is amazing. He's 6 years old. He is a certified therapy cat. And can we talk about the book thing?
Oh yeah, sure.
I've written many books. This book came out during COVID, guys. It's called A Kid's Guide to Cats. And I work with different publishers. And this one, the publisher, I convinced them that I have running sidebars with Casey talking to the kids. And it's been a great book. And it saved a lot of parents and grandparents during COVID.
Yeah.
Stuck at home with the kids. But we're going to give away one of these. Emily will figure it out. And I will autograph it, as will Casey and Rusty. Rusty came after the book was written. Sorry, Rusty. But I love it because we're reaching a whole new generation of cat lovers.
Absolutely. So for anyone who's interested in winning a copy of Arden's book, just leave a comment and say, like, I want to win, or
Kid's Guide to Cats.
Yes. And at the end of the live, I'll go through and make a list of everybody who commented, and I'll pick a random winner, like from a random number generator or something. And so just comment if you want to win a copy, and I'll be in touch if you win.
Yeah, and Emily will get your address, your name, your cat's name, and then we will mail it to you. And there'll be a couple little goodies from Casey and Rusty.
Oh, thank you, Arden. That's so generous of you.
Get your tail out of here. He's a clown. He's a clown.
He is. So you mentioned the pet first aid kit. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us what items we should have? Like, I know you can buy just a pet first aid kit on Amazon or, at wherever, but I always, because everything is leans more towards dogs, I always wonder, like, would you have different items for a dog than a cat? Are those pet first aid kits that you can buy already put together sufficient? What items should we?
It does vary, and this one, I like this one because it's for dogs, cats, and people.
Okay.
And it has a lot of items in it, and it's waterproof, great for outdoor.
Yeah.
So I get approached by a lot of companies, and I said yes to helping them create this kit. And what I did in here is I created a little 10-page cheat sheet.
Oh, cool.
That gives a lot of tips and tricks from my first aid class. And it has my pet safety cat, Casey, and pet safety dog, Kona's pictures here.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So, you're on a hike and you're like, crap, I forgot what Arden taught me. Well, I gave you a cheat sheet. But it does have a lot of things for cats and dogs and humans. So when you're hiking and camping, every bit of ounce counts, and you don't want to be carrying too much. I like this one because it does for 3 species. So
where can we find that kit?
This one, it's on my website, the Pet First Aid for You.
Okay.
You can order it directly there, and it shows all the stuff on it. But this is where, I'm sorry, it's not a cat pun, it's a dog pun. But I have created a program called How to Be a Mutt Diver. So what do you do when happens and you don't have a first aid kit and you're far from a veterinarian because you're like in the woods?
Mm-hmm.
So in my classes, I show you what you can use with what you're wearing and what's around you to render aid to a cat or a dog. And a big one is if the kitty or the dog, if the kitty gets a mild cut or a burn, you can snap off an aloe plant and put it on that wound. Aloe is your pillow. And go with the green goo. I say green goo is good. So years ago, I used to work at Prevention Magazine, and I wrote herb books. So I'm sure they would shudder if I said the phrase aloe could be your palo, but I bet you won't forget that.
No, I won't. Those cheesy puns work. That's why we have them.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, and the other thing people forget, one of your best allies in a is right here.
Yeah.
Bottled water. So don't be worried about having to put burn cream or a wound clean on a cat's cut or burn. Squirt good old clean water on the wound.
Yeah.
Because my veterinarians tell me if you have a burn on a cat and you put burn cream and you're not reading the label and it's made for people, not cats, again, different skins, you just made, yikes.
Yeah.
And so when in doubt, go with H2O.
Yeah. Makes sense. Is your kit available to ship to Canada? I have some viewers who live in Canada and they're asking if.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and if they need to, they can write me, and I can go right through to the main company that does this, and we can probably work something out to help them get a good rate.
Okay. Cool.
Go Canada. Arden's not going to ship it to Canada directly because it would be too expensive for me. But these guys that I work with can help you.
I understand. So
I won $50 in the lotto today, but that's it.
Ah, nice. Congratulations.
I know. $10 scratch off turned out to be 50, but again, sorry, Canada, we will work with you with the company.
So for those who are interested, the website I just put on the screen, the petfirstaidforyou.com, is the one where Arden said you can purchase that first aid kit. So
right. And then the ardenmoore.com has the one with all my books. I'm actually working on my latest book, which is an update of a book I wrote about 12 years ago called the Cat Behavior Answer Book, and it's in a Q&A format. And I'm writing it now. It's going to come out in early 2022.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun because it's real questions from people. But back then, nobody heard of Fear Free, nobody heard of COVID, nobody heard of KittyCatGO Live, so KittyCatGO, nobody have heard of those. So it totally needed an update. So we're doing about a 50% new content for the book. Yeah,
wow, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
So viewers, if anyone watching has any questions for Arden about cat first aid and adventures, drop them in the comments and I'll be sure to ask her for you. While I'm waiting to see if we get any questions, Arden, can you tell us about the first aid class that you teach? You've mentioned a few times. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I found that that you need to teach different levels and make it fun. So for in some cases before COVID, I was doing just like an hour and a half basic, really no certification kind of a class, to teaming up with people like What a Great Dog and the SPCA of Texas. And then the next level, which I think is more what your audience is interested in, is a cat only first aid and CPR class. And guys, I don't know why it hasn't been out there before. So I've been teaching this now for the last 3 years, and people get a 2-year certificate. They get a course book downloaded. I team up with Casey and Rusty. You have your cat in your home, and I guide you through Zoom live interactive. Don't we all wish we had bought, stock in Zoom in like September of, 2019?
Yes.
But the good news is that it's all for cats. And it's a fun class. It's 3 hours. It's $40. You get a course book. I give you handouts on COVID safety, Mutt Diver tips, how to do a head-to-tail wellness on your kitty, what are their vitals that you need to know. And we have now taught this class, and I'm getting people from all over the world. Not only Quebec and Toronto last time, but we got somebody from Cairo, Egypt, and Berlin, Germany.
No way. That's awesome.
Well, my only German was how to ask for a glass of wine and how to say a nasty word in German. So I had to watch myself. But I'm telling you, it's kind of neat because people love their cats.
Yeah.
And because cats won't tell you when they're really hurting like our dogs will, the cat first aid class is really taken off. So we only have 2 spots left for Sunday's class. But Emily's going to let you know, but we have openings for a class Thursday, April 22nd, and Tuesday, May 25th. Now, for the kitty class, I found this out. You guys want to get up late. So if it's a Sunday, mid-morning, everybody's cool. Nobody wants to take an early class if you have a cat. I don't know what it is. But these 2 classes on April 26th and May 25th are at night from 5 to 8 Central. So don't ask me what it was in Germany and Egypt, but those troopers were there.
Yeah. Well, I just dropped the dates of your class in the comments so anyone watching can see those, but I'll mention them too. The upcoming dates Arden has are Sunday, March 13th, Thursday, April 22nd.
Well, the March 13th is a cat and dog class combined. Okay. It's 4.5 hours. Then Sunday, I'm teaching a cat-only first aid for 3 hours. Okay. And I only have 2 spots left. I don't have a giant class. This isn't going to be like 30 people in a class. Yeah. I like to keep it about 8 to 10 because then I can help everybody and people get to like each other. And with their permission, we always do a little group photo doing a screenshot at the end. And it's kind of cool because all the cats are there and posing and everything. So I just want you to have a good time, but I want you to have fun learning, and I don't know, that's just something I love.
Yeah, and people, if they're interested in this class, it's also at the petfirstaidforyou.com, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And it's calculated, so when it fills up, it'll tell you it's sold out. Okay. That's not something I did. My business manager did. She's smarter than me.
It's nice to have helpful people like that.
Oh, yes, definitely, definitely.
So we've got a question. What side effects would you see if your cat ingested a poisonous plant like poison oak or poison ivy or any other sort of poisonous toxic plant?
It depends on a lot of factors. The health level of the cat, the age, how much of the toxin was ingested, and what was the toxin. So it can vary from a cat kind of having labored breathing to a cat foaming to a cat vomiting and diarrhea because the body's just saying, evacuate! Yeah. And it's coming out both ends. And when that happens, you know the cat is at risk for dehydration. So there's different variables, and that's a lot of things we go into more in depth in our class. But if a cat you see got into something poisonous, like your medicine or a poisonous plant, Easter's coming. Lilies, really bad for cats. Yeah. It'll shut down their kidneys. It isn't just the little yellow stamen. if they take some licks out of the vase that has water in it with the Easter lilies in it, that's one of the biggest fears that my veterinary friends who practice ER and critical care, they say Easter is a terrible time for cats because people think, well, the vase is up there. The kitty's not going to get to it. Really?
Yeah.
We're talking cats. They can jump 8 times their height. And so please, guys, if you have cats and you celebrate Easter, do it without lilies. And when you're on a trail, this is where you really need to go to the ASPCA and look at what are some poisonous plants that could be on your trail or your trip, and use that as a factor in deciding if you're going.
Yeah. So that kind of leads into another question that somebody just had is, what are some other common plants that are poisonous to cats?
Let's see. The poinsettia isn't deadly, but it's dire. Anything that is a lily is a bad boy. I wish I'm having a brain fart right now. So I remember when I got married, I went through the house and I said, no, no, no. So just do an inventory of what you got. And if you're thinking about giving a plant or flowers to a friend who has cats, ask the person at the florist shop or the Home Depot, or get on your phone and make sure that that plant is not poisonous to the kitty. There's a big effort by ER vets that are trying to put little stickers that have like that Ghostbuster, so it's the kitty or the dog face with a slash.
Yeah.
To put on plants to remind people, whoa, I can't buy this from my aunt because it's a lily, Easter lily, and get you a cat-safe plant or flowers. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, I don't even have plants in the house anymore. Because
yeah. I mean, same thing with candles. I have the fake ones because what happens when a cat sees the flicker?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a cat. What am I going to do? I'm going to go, wow! And now I got a burn on my paw and my tongue. So, yeah, there's a lot of things out there. In our class, we actually talk about some surprises that happened with COVID. I don't want to spill all the beans. I want you guys to take my class. But I think I want to make it relevant. And I think you might be surprised at some of the hidden dangers in your own house now, thanks to all of us been stuck at home.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Like, I'm sure there are all kinds of things that we don't think about.
Yeah. Well, one that, if any of you guys have dogs too, one thing that's really scary and showing up at ERs is snack bag suffocation. So we are either losing weight by eating better, or we're binging on carbs, like eating Fritos and Cheetos and all that other stuff. Mm-hmm. And maybe we're like, well, nobody's coming over to my house anymore. So there goes the bag. I just throw it on the floor, right? I don't do that. But your dog or your cat sticks their head in to get that little piece away in the bottom of the bag, and it forms a vacuum, and it can cause suffocation. So if you're not going to throw your bag around, you do want to clip it all around so that there's no way to create a vacuum seal around the muzzle of your dog or cat.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard about that one, and I'm so paranoid about stuff like that. When we go to the grocery store, I make sure bags away, like any sort of bag, and I also like clip the handle of the bag,
yes,
so your cat doesn't spoil themselves.
When we bring in the groceries, we have a kitchen island, and Rusty goes crazy for the bags while we're trying to get the eggs out. Yeah. We're both there to supervise, and we don't leave the bags and then go to pick up dinner or something. Mm-hmm. We never leave a bag out for a cat. And I love that you clip the handles. So yeah, that's really good, because that would be a terrifying way to go.
Yes, my cats love playing in like paper bags, and that's fine. They can play in those, but I make sure.
Well, what you can do is cut the handles, then lay the paper bag on its side, and on the back end, cut a hole, and I'll show you. Take something like this and weave it through the bag, and then the cat will go in and they're getting to play fishing.
Yeah, that's cool.
So there you go. Pretty easy. Or just take ping pong balls or paper wads in a dry bathtub and throw them in there for the kitties, and they'll become hockey players.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great ideas.
Yeah, that's what that degree from Purdue came in handy. Yeah.
Well, Arden, I have learned so much tonight, and I'm looking forward to taking your class. I encourage everybody to take Arden's class, as you realize just from our brief chat tonight that she's full of knowledge, and all of this information is relevant to what we do, going out with our cats on hiking trails, canoeing, whatever you do with your cat. My motto is better safe than sorry, and I always want to be prepared. And so yes, take Arden's class. So before we wrap things up, Arden, can you tell us where can we find you online on social media? So I had your websites. You're on Instagram and Facebook, right?
Right. So Instagram is Arden Knows Pets, Knows, and Facebook I'm on. It's just Arden Moore. Thank gosh, my mom gave me a weird first name. And we also have a Facebook page, Pet First Aid for You.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And look at him. He's
ready to play.
Up. So you've been wanting to meet Rusty. So Casey said, I'll let the little punk be the star. But isn't he a good boy? I'm trying like you, Emily, with you're doing with Sophie and all your fans at, KittyCatGO. These guys are wonderful sentient beings that deserve to have enriched lives. So when they do their 7th catnap of the day, they got something really cool to dream about. And so I really give you a pause up for what you're doing.
Thank you. Well, I really appreciate you, and thank you for being here tonight, taking this time out and sharing your knowledge with us. I really appreciate it, and I know everybody who's watching tonight did as well. I'm getting lots of
too bad of the jokes, did I? I didn't go too crazy.
No, you
Rusty has a joke.
You are appreciating your jokes.
He goes, why don't you play poker with cats in the jungle?
Why?
There's too many cheetahs.
Oh.
All right. He said it, not me.
Well, thanks again for being with us tonight, Arden. For everyone watching, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here with us tonight. If you're interested in joining more in this discussion, or if you have any more questions, be sure to join our Facebook group, KittyCatGO Adventure Team. Our next episode of KittyCatGO Live is going to be Wednesday, April 14th. I'm about to put the date. There we go. Wednesday, April 14th at 8 p.m. with Julie Poslins from Cat School. She's going to be talking to us about clicker training.
Nice.
Yeah. So mark your calendars. I hope you guys will join us then. But thanks for hanging out with us tonight. I hope you learned something and had some fun. And we'll see you on the trail.
Thank you so much, Emily. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.